Okay, so good day to my BSBA Financial Management students. So after the creation and formulation of the chapter 1 or the background of the study, and as well as the review of related literature and studies for the chapter 2, so now let us move on to the research methodology or the third chapter of the thesis. So basically when we say research methodology, then this will be the part of the paper wherein you will explain or you will discuss how are you going to conduct the study, how are you going to gather the data, who are the respondents, where the study will be conducted, and what particular statistical tool are you going to use in order to compute and analyze the data. Okay, so the common parts of the research methodology includes the design of the research, the locale of the study, the respondents of the study, the research instrument, the data gathering procedures, and the data analysis. So we will discuss each part of the paper or part of the research methodology. So for the research design, this one, the research design, the most common research design is the descriptive correlation and then the descriptive comparative. Okay, so since we are commonly using these two kinds of the research design, so I will only be discussing this one. So before coming up or before finding out or determining the type of the research design, you have to go back first in your statement of the problem, the last part of the statement of the problem. So if your statement of the problem is something like this: is there a significant relationship? So if your statement of the problem, the last statement of the problem, asks for significant relationship, then your design is descriptive correlation. Okay, so it aims to determine the existence of a relationship between two or more variables and to determine the degree of the relationship. So this is the clue, this is the hint in the statement of the problem, which identifies what particular design are you going to use. So let's say, for example, your statement of the problem asks like this: is there a significant difference? Okay, so if your statement of the problem asks the significant difference, if you're going to compare the variables, if you're going to make a comparative study, then basically it is a descriptive comparative. It aims to compare the existence compare the existence of differences in variables in two or more group of respondents. Okay, so if you're going to compare the variables or the responses of the two or more group of respondents, then that will be descriptive comparative. So mamimili lang, you're going to choose between the two kinds of the most common descriptive research design. Okay, the next one is the respondents of the study. So in most common term or in layman's term, the respondents of the study pertains to someone who will be interviewed, who will be surveyed. Okay? So let's say, for example, example muna ng research design. Ito yung example na ilalagay sa paper. The current study utilize or will utilize, rather since proposal pa lang naman ito, will utilize the descriptive correlational methods of research. It is descriptive. I-describe nyo muna itong descriptive na ito, because it determines the profile of the respondents. Kung itong example na title, and then it is correlational because it tries to find out the relationship of the respondents' demography to work performance. Bakit siya descriptive? Kasi doon sa first part ng statement of the problem, kung merong profile doon, then descriptive yan. Kung may measure ninyo ang level ng work performance, halimbawa, then descriptive yan. Pero kung may test na ng relationship, doon sa last part ng inyong statement of the problem, it is correlational na kasi it tries to find out the relationship. Okay? So next is the locale of the study. Basically, where and when the study will be conducted. Saan? Saang municipality, saang bayan, saang barangay, saang agency, saang opisina, saang school, saang businesses. Kailan ikakandak ang study? First sem, second sem, anong taon, buwan ba, quarterly ba? So, i-describe niyo dito sa locale of the study. It also includes the vicinity map. Okay, may example tayo dyan. Example, The study will be conducted in Occidental Mindoro State College, Labangan Campus. Okay? And then nagbigay ng brief discussion, ano ba ang Labangan Campus, ano ba ang OMSC. Saan sa OMSC? Sa College of Business, Administration, and Management. Sino ang mga respondents? Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, major in Financial Management. So yan ang locale of the study. Ito naman ang example ng vicinity map. Kung halimbawa ang inyong study ay ikakandak ninyong study sa LTO San Jose, then ipapakita mismo doon sa vicinity map yung LTO San Jose. Kung OMSC yan, ipapakita ito Occidental Mindoro State College. Dapat yan yung naka-highlight. Pero kung mapapansin nyo, LTO ang nakalagay dito sa vicinity map. Okay? Respondents of the study includes who your respondents are and the sample size. Sino ang inyong mga respondents? Estudyante ba? Teacher ba? Manager ba ng bangko? Mga customers ba? Mga clients? I-discuss ninyo. Ilan sila? Okay, sa pamamagitan ng sample size. Okay? So, i-discuss naman natin ang different types of probability sampling procedure. Meron yan, nandiyan yan. Okay, nasa inyong module din ito. Pagka simple random sampling, ibig sabihin lamang yan, then hindi natin pinipili ang ating mga respondents. Sa pamamagitan ng simple random sampling, bubunot tayo kung sino ang mga respondents na kukunin natin. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya pinipili. Okay? Meron lamang tayong bowl, fish bowl. Ilagay natin lahat ng respondents doon. So, kung ilan ang ating sample, halimbawa 30 out of 100, then yung 30 pipiliin natin, bubunutin natin doon sa fish bowl na yon. Systematic random sampling naman, so basically, hindi naman ninyo ito magagawa. Ang stratified, hindi rin ninyo magagawa. So, you may just search for this one kung ito ang napipili ninyo. Pero I suggest simple random sampling lang tayo. Okay? Simple random sampling ang inyong pipiliin na sampling procedure. We don't use non-probability sampling procedure naman unless purposive. The most common one is the purposive. Pag sinabi natin purposive sampling, kung sino lamang sa mga respondents ang nag-fit doon sa ating criteria. Well, let's say for example, ang ating mga respondents ay mga special kind of respondents na hindi typical, hindi usual, hindi common ang ating mga respondents. Let's say for example, the PWDs, okay? Okay, so let's say for example, your respondents are the PWDs, okay? So, PWDs. Kaya lang, sobrang dami ng PWDs sa atin. Okay, mamimili ka na lamang, let's say for example, what particular PWDs ang iyong magiging respondents. May special criteria. Merong selected criteria. So for example, PWDs with the condition of ano ba ang tawag dito so let's say for example ang iyong respondents ay certain person with autism, okay? So, piling-pili yun, may special criteria, may specific criteria. Sino naman halimbawa sa mga autistic or may autism, students with autism, ang iyong pipiliin? Halimbawa, mga estudyante lamang, o kaya certain age range, halimbawa from 10 to 20 person, kaya 10 to 30 person, 13 ang age niya, age gap niya, age range niya. So, yun ang tinatawag natin na purposive. Hindi siya natin pwedeng i-random because there is a limited number of respondents and there are special criteria sa pagpili ng respondents. Doon naman sa simple random sampling, let's say for example, ang ating respondents lang naman ay mga estudyante. Okay? Estudyante lang naman at wala tayong special criteria na hinahanap. We don't care if he is a male or a female, hindi tayo makikialam kung siya ay BSBA FM, hindi tayo makikialam kung siya ay nag-aaral na for 5 to 10 years, halimbawa lang. So, simple random sampling lamang iyon. Okay, pagka ang ating respondent ay very special, very select, then purposive yun. From the word itself, purposive, may purpose, merong specific criteria tayong hinahanap. So, for the research instrument, so basically, by the way, for the computation of, computation of sample size para sa simple random sampling, you search for the Sloven's formula. Okay? Para malaman natin kung gaano kadami ang respondents natin, then hahanapin natin ang Sloven's formula. Dito natin mako-compute compute the sample size from the total population. Okay? So basically, let's say for example, ang ating respondents ay estudyante ng Occidental Mindoro State College. Okay? Masyadong marami ang estudyante ng Occidental Mindoro State College. We have 15,000, almost 15,000 students. Hindi naman natin yung lahat i-interview, hindi naman natin ma-survey. So, sample lamang. Iilan lamang doon sa 15,000 ang ating kukunin. So, para makuha natin yon, kailangan nyo mag-compute ng Slowin's formula. Okay? So, hahanapin niyo iyan sa internet at mag-compute kayo. Okay? Mag-compute kayo ng Slowin's formula. For the research instrument, basically, survey questionnaire ang ating gagamitin. I will be uploading a different research instrument discussion or instruction kung paano gumawa ng research instrument. So, skip muna natin yan. Okay? Data gathering procedure, very simple. Steps on how are you going to execute your data gathering or collection of data. Paano ka mangongolekta ng data, paano ka magsi-survey. Okay? May example naman dito. Una, hihingi ka muna ng permission to conduct the study, of course. And then, magdi-distribute ka ng questionnaire. And then, pagka nakuha mo na yung mga data, yung mga questionnaire, then you will tabulate at saka i-compute mo or i-analyze yung data. This is the most simple. Siyempre, hindi naman ito yung talagang ilalagay ninyo. Magdadagdag kayo dyan ng mga specific data gathering procedure na unique sa inyong study. So, let's say, for example, ang inyong market ay nasa Iling. So, ilalagay nyo sa data gathering procedure, magta-travel muna kayo pa Iling, magko-courtesy call kayo sa barangay captain, kakausapin nyo muna ang mga seaweeds farmer, halimbawa. So, ang data gathering procedure ay nakaspecific sa inyong study, nakadepende sa inyong study or sa nature ng inyong study. For the data analysis naman, so, ito naman ay hihingi kayo dito ng tulong sa inyong statistician or data analyst. Okay? So, basically, ang makakasagot neto kung wala pa kayo masyadong background sa statistics o hindi niyo naalala ang statistics subject ninyo. So, data analysis is a section wherein how are you going to compute for the statement of the problem ninyo na variables. Yung variables na nakalagay sa statement of the problem. So, let's say for example, demographic profile. How are you going to compute for demographic profile? Then, weighted mean, frequency, and percentage distribution. So, magpaturo na lamang kayo sa advisor ninyo at sa inyong statistician. Kung test of relationship or descriptive correlation, normally may Pearson R. Pero meron pang iba't ibang uri ng statistical tool. Kung difference, test of difference, or descriptive comparative ang inyong study, then ANOVA or t-test ang inyong statistical tool. Okay? So, you are free to PM me kung meron kayong mga questions. But I encourage you to read the module as well as view other videos and search sa internet ng mga iba pang mga sources, references, and how do I say this? Tutorial video kung paano gumawa ng research methodology. I will also be uploading the format for the chapter 3 of our paper. Okay? Thank you for listening.